Today's top story comes out of Tallahassee late last night, where the Florida Senate officially refused to concur with the Florida House's unconstitutional limit of a 10% THC ban for all cannabis flower. The Florida Senate has sent Senate Bill 188 back to the House to remove Ray Rodriguez's proposal 10% THC cap. This language would make Florida the first state to regulate THC in smokable cannabis, that is, the whole flower. Governor DeSantis has established solid momentum to push some pro-cannabis laws this year by lifting the smoking ban and issuing more licenses. But this cap puts the Florida cannabis industry a step in the wrong direction. Some states do have THC limits in place, but none have caps on whole flower. For example, Texas just rolled out a program allowing concentrates with no greater than 10% THC. The state also doesn't allow whole flower. So basically, only the states where we'll find limits on THC are states that either don't have a medical program at all or CBD-only states. So here's something I personally didn't understand, because Representative Rodriguez's proposal doesn't address THC concentrates for vaporizers, because those concentrates in those cartridges have THC levels up to 75%. So Ray Rodriguez's original bill to cap the THC limit at 10% wasn't moving at all. There was no companion bill filed in the Senate, but he was able to put the language in this new bill that already passed the Senate. The Senate loved it because it's a very non-controversial Department of Health bill. Yes, his amendment is related to health, but it has no business being in there. We know Representative Rodriguez is relying on a study which was kind of picked apart over the month of April, and where he talked about how psychosis could possibly, but not definitely, come from high intakes of THC. So one of the main issues with capping the THC limit at 10% is that people will have to smoke 2 to 3 times as much and spend 2 to 3 times as much money to get the amount of THC they need for their specific illness. This bill would kick us back to the low THC days with whole flower, CBD dominant strains. So if you need 23% THC, you're going to need to buy more product. And if you can't afford this more product, guess where you're going to go? The black market. And as you know, none of the cannabis in the black market is regulated. I thought the problem was going to be with a particular senator who was going to be presenting this in the Senate, Gail Harrell. She's not that educated on cannabis. She fully believes the psychosis situation is real, and she thinks medical cannabis isn't real. But everybody wants what the original bill is for, this licensing bill. So this Wednesday, May 1st, the THC smoking cap was amended and passed on to the third reading. On Thursday afternoon, Senate Bill 188 went for a final vote in the Senate. During debate, Senator Gail Harrell refused to concur with the Rodriguez amendment with the THC cap and sent it back to the House with a demand that they retract the amendment. It seems like the senators and Governor DeSantis want the Florida cannabis industry to progress and evolve. So once the language is removed, the Senate bill is going to be identical to the original bill, which is for Department of Health regulations and licensing for doctors. So once it's identical back to its normal original form, they can vote on it and then send it to the governor without any THC cap language. We're recording late Thursday night, so the morning listeners can get their content in on the way to work or the gym or wherever they may be going. But stay active on Twitter with us tomorrow, _FL Cannabis News, to see what ends up happening with Senate Bill 188. So the last full day of session is tomorrow, Friday, May 3rd. So here's where we're at right now. The Senate sent the bill back to the House to say, get this language out. And if the language is not changed, they'll just end the bill. It's interesting because this was Senator Harrell's bill, the original bill, Senate Bill 188, and she didn't want her bill to die. So she was the champion for the cannabis industry this week. This was a nice win for Florida's cannabis industry, but we still need to get edibles online. We need testing requirements and licenses issued. Jacob Ogles of FloridaPolitics.com has a nice write-up of this story that I'll have linked below in the show notes.